What's up, everybody? What it do? Milwaukee City, stand up. Gwinnett County, Georgia. What's happening? This is Jay Spruill. This is movies, music, sports, and life. Even though TV shows aren't movies, I'm not gonna change the name of my channel to movie, TV, music, sports, and life. It's on the screen. It's the same thing. Everything is a movie. But I'm not gonna waste a whole lot of time. I'm gonna try to keep this under 10 minutes long. I have about 13 observations I wrote down. So let's just jump right into it. The first thing, we live in a world where Derek Chauvin put his knee on the neck of Brother Floyd in Minneapolis for almost 9 minutes. So the same way I wasn't feeling the TV show Snowfall when the girl was just torturing the black man with the knife, I have real issues, going beyond just seeing us shoot each other on camera. I have real issues with scenes where we torture each other. And you may say I'm being soft or anything like that, but I just really feel like where we are as black people in this country, that that's the last image that we need to But needless to say, once again, I'm choosing to review it. I'm choosing to watch it, so I can't be so high on a pedestal to put it down that much, but at least I'm being honest that it really bothers me when we project that. Because I think what Mr. Floyd went through was torture by Derek Chauvin, so I don't want to see that perpetuated by us. Nonetheless, some pretty good acting by Joey Bad, the New York City rapper, because he was trying to keep from crying after he took his boy out. But you know the rules of the drug game. If you come up slipping, you have to make an example of those under you, even if it's somebody that you grew up with. Dinner time. Now, there was one comment Kanan made that I think went over your heads, but if it didn't, you can leave it in the comments below to let me know. Yeah, Jason, I caught that too. When he was explaining to Symphony that this is the day that I cook dinner for my mom every week, Symphony tried to say, "Oh, Rock didn't know," and he just flat out said she knew. And to me, that had a double meaning. When he said she knew, he was also talking about D. And I haven't made up my mind how I feel about that yet. Initially, I was thinking that Kanan was going to take out his own mother over what she did to his friend. But based on this episode, I'm starting to feel like that Kanan just understands that it's just the cost of doing business. And just like how he had to reprimand and chastise his friend for talking about, wanting to have credit for the body, it seems like now he's come to a place, inner peace inside, that he knew that D Wiz, even though that was his boy, he was a little reckless, so his mom had to handle it. What else did I notice? Oh, Rock's brother, I forget his name. As my boy JG says, the red bands with the S's. Is it Marvin? I think it's Marvin. Marvin completely curved old girl, and it was really interesting because I thought that he was like somewhat of a coon, like for white women and then like his own sisters. The way he was kind of showing out for her in front of the cops and all that. But it seems like I was wrong on that because when she tried to cuddle with him, and then he noticed that she didn't feed the dog that she gifted to him. It's like if if she was on fire, he wouldn't spit on her to put the fire out. He just completely checked out on her like in an instant. So that was pretty surprising, but it was just also interesting because I don't think he's gonna revisit that situation based on the way that he remembered. Fifth point, fourth and fifth. Of course, I know that's Al B's short son, but other than him not being stocky, like man, DNA is something amazing because this man looks exactly like Al B. Shore, you know. But it was also very clear. I'm gonna just call him Al B. Shore because I can't remember the young producer's name on the show. He doesn't have any interest in famous at all, you and to all my, as you know, I'm a former artist, but for all my fellow former artists and then my people that are still making music out here watching this, um, there are some people who rap or produce literally just to be popular, have a name, and get what you want. And they're not really pursuing it or taking it seriously like a professional, or should I say semi-professional. Whoever made it with a record deal, I guess you could call it semi-professionals because a lot of the things we did, including myself and some of my other friends, actually made songs with people who went platinum and people who went gold. But the way I'll Be Sure's son is moving, you can tell he doesn't care that much about music because he's about to put Famous, her brother, in a showcase, introduce her to artists just because he wants to sleep with his sister. And nothing could be more evident than that. So I really thought that Lulu was going to smack her or do something of the sort or dump her and just tell her you can have a producer. So he kind of surprised me. He just kind of snatched her up and took a kiss and just kept it moving. But I wouldn't be surprised if he gives up on her. Lulu doesn't seem like the type of person who takes this young lady and try to win her over. Um, oh, 6 point that I noticed took down. I'm not sure. I think they said the gentleman and his wife are Colombian. I'm not sure how much the Colombian, at least last, because it seems like outside of Spanish, the only language he knows is complain. Like he done turned complain into a language. All he does. And he said something about my place of business. And Rock, with them pretty and crazy eyes, checked him. She said, "This is my place of business. This is no longer your place of business." She put that package, put that on his chest, but you can tell she meant it. She was not playing around. Unique put the pressure on Davina, and I want to be very clear with you guys about something. She snitched. Like people think that snitching is only if you do a crime with somebody, y'all crime partners, and you can't take the heat, so you dime out or tell on the people who you did the crime with. There's a lot of other variations of snitching that goes on in the inner city or the hood, as we use it as a form of vernacular. The very fact that she knows what Unique is about, and she knows that Unique may have it in his mind to do harm to Kanan, and yet she still gave up information about Kanan, well, says two things. A, she snitched. There's no other way to word it. B, she probably snitched from the standpoint that in the same breath that Unique was telling her, I'll help your mom out, you could also tell from his reputation that it also meant that I'll kill you. So when people like this in this situation are making you an offer, there isn't a multiple choice. There isn't a maybe and there isn't a no because your no means death. So it's a lot of people might look at Davina as being a traitor or disloyal. She's a snitch. She's this or that. But if this man just shot his best friend since elementary school, who is Davina? You know what I mean? That's what you kind of have to understand how things work. Is that when you the kingpin or you the boss of a certain block or a certain neighborhood, unless you kill that person, you're pretty much at their mercy. Um, Juke is stressing. If you notice the thumbnail, she's on that cell phone, and it was just weird because she immediately started stressing once Famous was telling her that he got the studio time. And I think part of it is that Jukebox feels that she's more talented than Famous. But I think the other part, and it was very unspoken, and once again, going back to my fellow industry and semi professional rap artists, engineers, producers, singers, especially in the 1980s, but even some points right now. If you say who's the biggest rapper in the industry, he's my complexion. It's Drake. And even funnier about Drake is that he's half Jewish. And we know that group of people substantially runs the music industry. So if today the biggest person in the industry is a person that is slightly diluted, being mixed and being half Jewish and stuff like that, in the 1980s, early 90s, when jukebox was trying to break in, it was even more prevalent. So part of what they said without saying it is, yeah, Albie Shore got in, Barge got in, Shantae Moore, everything kind of more catered in music. Christopher Williams to light skinned people with the wavy hair. And so once again, Jukebox didn't come out and say that. That was an overwhelming kind of inference. If you keep reminding yourself that this is a period piece from the late 80s slash early 90s. So, so not only does she have to fight to get in the industry because she's a female, but then being a brown skinned female also works against her. So, something I caught. All right. I went over my time. I said I was going to try to keep it to 10 minutes. So let me rush through. Um Turning point for Jukebox, and she was real stressed because she kind of feels like taking real chances with my life and my freedom to boost these clothes. Come up with money to go to the studio. When that guard, now the rumor and the theory was that she was gonna kill that guard, so that she was gonna catch her first body. So I think they did a good job of flipping that on us because they kind of made some inferences that what may happen. But instead of killing him, he gave her a pass because he appreciated the fact that she spared him, and basically by threatening to kill that other guy who she did the job with, she saved his life. Because that dude was on one. He was not going to stop hitting that guard. Blunt force trauma. He would have. And I guess Jukebox had a moment of clarity from that moment to say that it's not worth her freedom or her life to boost these clothes. And I'm just guessing she didn't let this come out of her mouth, but I'm guessing she feels like if I have the talent to make music, it's gonna happen one way or the other. I don't have to steal from people in order to make that happen. She gave a good history lesson about Ralph Lauren. A, I didn't know he was from New York City, and B, I never knew that he was poor, and that he viewed playing polo as something that the rich and upper class did. So that's what he named his clothing line. So that was very interesting that she presented that to her white girlfriend, aka Madonna. So now we comes to the climax of of the show. Spot got hit based on the information that Davina provided. And then if you noticed, whoever the guy was who worked for Unique, he was doing too much talking. If he just would have just continued to beat Kanan up, even shot him to either kill him or hurt him and just kept it moving, there wouldn't be any information he could relay back to his mom or anything like that about who these people were. But this guy was talking so much. As soon as he said, I know you had something to do with Buck getting killed, Kanan kind of raised his eyebrow even while a gun went to his head because he instantly realized that this is unique people. So now his brain is probably caught between am I about to die or how did Unique find out where we were? So the uncle comes in and he kind of saves the day. And the one thing I have to say about that is that one of my homies on here, fellow YouTuber, was saying that Kanan is really dumb. But to be honest with you, when I really watched this episode, Kanan didn't really do anything that was that dumb. To me, it was really Marvin that was dumb because Marvin had the young dude that was supposed to be the head of the stash house. He told him we need to transport our things from that house to the Colombian's bodega. And he said no because he got bubble guts and a bad stomach and a bad butt, diarrhea or whatever. And Marvin just let it ride. Like, do you think that he could have said that to Rock? That I want you to move this stuff from one location to another? Do you think he could just tell Rock, no, I got diarrhea? I'm not doing it. Marvin just let him off without doing it. Enlisted Rock's son, who she knows, who he knows she doesn't want him having anything to do with it. So her finding that shirt, although I am no longer convinced that Kanan can take out his mama, you don't gotta try to convince me that Rock will take out mama. Salute.